My name is Daniela. I've been working in the non-profit sector since, I guess, now 17 years, which sounds a lot for me. I think I'm getting old. 12 of this year I've spent in Save the Children. So I would say it's a sort of love story, which is lasting since 12 years exactly. So, I mean, before coming here, I was asking myself what it is relevant to share with you today. And I think it is good to talk about programs and to give you an understanding of why we do this work. But before really entering on that, I really thought, do you mind if I sit? Because I've been standing all day. So, I mean, I've been thinking, why do I work for the non-profit sector? And I've been choosing this sector since the very beginning. That's all my career. I've never worked in the profit. There is nothing against the profit. It was just that it was my passion. And I mean, I thought that the reason why I work in the non-profit stays in three words, which is ambition, collaboration, and impact. I think that ambition may sound a little bit strange when you think about non-profit. We should be humble. We should, value a lot of different values than the profit sector. But I think ambition is key because you have to be the most ambitious people because you have to reach the biggest impact. So there is nothing bad to be ambitious in the non-profit sector or ambitious. It's not a bad word. Actually, it's the word that has to motivate you every day because you have to be best than the others. Your organization has to be best than the others because what you provide is life-saving. So one of the key values of Save the Children, for example, is ambition. And a lot of time we have to explain to our stakeholders why do we think ambition is a value. The second thing is much more related to collaboration. So I think that if you want to reach the impact, what you will be learning is that you cannot do it by yourself. So if you are not a team player, if you are a one-man show or woman show, that's not the sector for you. I mean, what it is really important in the non-profit is to create partnership, networking, in many different ways. You partner with your partner on the field. So, I mean, you create a lot of long-standing partnership and you value and you create capacity building and you understand who can do the job better than you and you engage with them. There is a lot of partnership around who is funding your programs. So again, we will not save or change the world ourselves, but we need to have the collaboration of companies, for example. And of course, it is such a critical topic because a lot of time we can enter in collaboration with companies that may sound very far away from our own business core values. But there is a lot that companies can offer, not only in terms of money, but a lot of their times in terms of competencies and skills, and also you can change them, and if you change them, it's going to have a huge impact. And then, of course, there is collaboration in terms of teams. So, I mean, if you come to Save Italy, for example, and there are someone who knows us very well, I think that what you experience is really the fact that there is a team there. And anytime people are asking me why Save the Children Italy has been so successful throughout these years, there is only one reason, because we don't sell any products, we don't have any special thing on our shelves. It is just because of the people that are working there. It's the team, it's the way we work together, it's the fact that we work all around the very same mission and umbrella, so there is no programs and fundraising and administration. Everything is under the very same thing, and you have to foster this. Sometimes it comes by nature of people, it comes by special magics. I think Save Italy was an easy situation in which there is a special magic, but you really have to work for that. And you have to believe that only with the team you can really achieve the impact. Then finally we get to this magic word, which is impact. Everybody today is talking about impact. So the magic, the key word is impact. What does it mean in practice? It means that we try to create some life-changing goals and experiences for the people we serve. And again, I think that I have had the pleasure and privilege, I guess, of witnessing impacts in many different times in my life, visiting the programs in Italy and worldwide. But impact is the reason why we get up every morning happy to go to work. It's the reason why we never give up, or at least we try, or if someone gives up, then the other is trying to cheer him or her up. But especially it is what we see, it is really providing life-saving solutions to the people or to the planet according to the mission you have. And of course you also have to be very good in measuring impact. When I'm talking about impact, and this was a suggestion that was coming from Marco, is can you make an example of impact and what Save the Children values of impact are your own experience? And there is something I'm particularly proud of, that was a program we started running last year, which is a program around search and rescue. I don't know how much familiar you are, but if I tell you that there are vessels on the sea, on the Mediterranean, that are rescue migrants, you know it. So Save the Children was very new on that, and we started last year. I think that we started for a different variety of reasons. The very first one is that we have been working for migrants, children, so you know our mission is children, since I guess 2004 in Italy. And with the peak of the crisis in 2015, especially in Greece and many other European countries, we really expand our areas of work. And what we have seen has been, how can I say, incredible touching in terms of really seeing people suffering and really investing all they have to try to get a better life, even that they know they may die. So a little bit of step back. A couple of years ago I went to the Zaatari camp. It's a refugee camp which is in Jordan. It is close to the border of Syria. And two things I never forget. Zaatari means the devil's land. So you can imagine it's not such a fantastic place to go for holidays. When you get there, everything is white. The sand is white, all the tents are white, and you get there and there is this full space full of white tents, no colors. So I was so much impressed because then there is the border, and like 12-15 kilometers you see the hills of Syria. So again, people, Syrian refugees that are coming exactly from this very green area, they cross because they were fleeing from the war, and they end up in this very white camp. And there, I mean, what I remember talking with the women and children especially, I thought these were the most resilient people I've ever met in all my life, and I've visited a lot of programs, but these people were extremely resilient because they were coming from a situation which was to a certain extent close to ours, because Syria was like Italy. They ended up having nothing, losing their family and friends, thinking that they were going to be stuck there. Average 7 years people spend in refugees camp, so it's not something you go across or through. I mean, you spend there a lot of time. And when I left the camp with a lot of fantastic stories of people that they were really trying to make their lives there, what I brought inside myself was, if I were a mom with children, I would have tried to escape from Zaatari camp, and I would have tried to risk my life to go to Europe, no doubt. I mean, there was not a place where I would have lived with my children. So when we started meeting the Syrian refugees crossing the sea and coming to countries like Italy, there were all these stories around how difficult for them was leaving Syria, then I mean crossing a lot of different countries, many times ended up in Turkey or Libya, and then had to risk their life to cross and come to Europe. So that was a part of, because Save the Children is working on the land, can we have a role also in working on the sea? And this is where we got to meet the Italian Coast Guard, which since then became my favorite heroes. So I mean, you really have to be grateful to this fantastic group of people, because they are doing an incredible job that a lot of time is completely unknown. So we went to Lampedusa and we had a meeting with these guys. And there were a lot of information around the fact that there was a need in terms of really, they needed help on the sea because they couldn't rescue all the people, and they were losing a lot of lives because when a boat sinks, it sinks very, very quickly. So either you are there, or when you arrive, people are already dead. So you don't have like, 6 hours, 7 hours. When they are sinking, usually it's 45 minutes that you have to get there. And there was this, so we provided us a really a full understanding, a picture of what they do, the need that we have, how the flows of migrants have changed. But what and again, as I shared with Marco, what I brought with me was again, because actually, I mean, what I think it sticks with you a lot of time, it's really the emotion you feel in a certain particular moment. So there was this big Sicilian man, very strong, very proud, was a captain of the Coast Guard. I don't remember exactly which was his role. And he was, I mean, I remember because he was very big. I mean, with very big hand. And I mean, it was like, wow, that's a big man. I mean, he cannot fear anything. And he was telling us that a lot of time they get out with this seaboat that they have 35 seats. And usually they come back with 200 people on them. So it means that a boat which is fits for 35 people, then because they have to rescue is 200. They don't sink because these are unsinkable. So, I mean, they have to be sure they don't lose people when they are coming back, and that people don't freeze, for example, because it may be very cold. But they really stuck all the people in a very small boat. And he told a story, and he told a lot of stories actually. And then at a certain time, I think we asked a very stupid question, which was, or a naive question probably, which was about how can you survive witnessing all this time these things, and I mean saving people, seeing people dying, what's behind? And he said, well, I mean, we work under an imperative which is we save lives. So we don't mind government, borders, whatever. The law of the sea is that you save lives. That's our imperative. But, and he told that story, and then tears come to his eyes. So this is why I said this big man then ended in crime, which for me was very powerful and shocking. And he said that he would never forget a lot of the stories that he saw, because for example once he got to, I mean they arrived when the boat was already sinking. The boats are rubber boats, so they are Chinese rubber boats. They are made to make like 12-13 miles. And then they are made to sink because they do like a sandwich. Usually they close like that. And so people sink inside the rubber boat, or I mean they simply, because they cannot swim, a lot of them, they may die. And he said that he got there and they got after the sinking. So where they were looking, there were a lot of dead bodies, and he saw that there was a man still moving. So he went close to him and he tried to get the man, and because they knew they had to put a limited number of people in their own boat, he could take only the live people. So I mean, if people were dead on the sea, he couldn't take the bodies. And this was a man who was hugging a child which was dead. It was his own child. And he had to separate the father from the child, because he had to have space on the boat for the people who were still alive. And of course, I mean, you can imagine this father wouldn't, I mean, he really didn't want to leave his child. So when he said that, and I could really figure, I mean, I could imagine him, this very big guy, he could really separate the man from the child, because he had the level of strength in terms of power, but I mean, the level of fatigue and the level of sorrow that he had, I mean, you could really feel it, and this man would never forget. So, I mean, to cut a long story short, it was not only for sure because of the story of this man, but then you have to imagine that behind every facts and figures there are people, and what you bring with you are the stories of people. So, this was, I would say, the final kick for us to say, okay, let's do the SAR. And so we started with this vessel, which is called the Vos Hestia, which has a very magic name in terms of really saving and witnessing people. And the Vos Hestia is a vessel which can rescue between 300 and 400 people. And so we started, it was actually, we took the decision end of July, and I don't know how, and this was established an international operation, so we cannot take the merit ourselves on Italy, it was a worldwide effort. But the 7th of September, the vessel was on water, and we started our very first mission. And we have saved in 3 months 200 and 500 people. And it has been an amazing way of witnessing impact. Because, I mean, when you meet the crew, when you meet these people, our people, you really understand the difference between life and death. Of course, to a certain extent, this is a program easy to tell, because it is extremely direct. I mean, I don't think that you can really have that you cannot really understand why you are saving people from drawings. But I think that, again, what I've learned through this program are 2 things. Of course, you create impact in terms of saving lives. But what it is really crucial, and I think our vessel, and of course I trust all the other vessels, and I trust a lot the Coast Guard, again, they are my favorite heroes since I met them in Lampedusa and then many others several times. But what these people need when you save them, when you rescue their lives, is to show a little bit of humanity and dignity, and provide them with an understanding of where they are. So this year there were approximately 4,000 people dying in the Mediterranean. It has been considered like one of the most risky migration route worldwide. I think there have been something such 100,000 more people crossing the Mediterranean. 60% of them are children, unaccompanied children. Many of them, when they land in Lampedusa, they don't even know where they are. They think they are somewhere in Europe, but they may point that they are in Corsica or in Sardinia or whatever else. They have no idea. They do not have any ideas of their right and of what it is really expecting them. So there is this fantastic search and rescue operation that, again, we are not running only ourselves. So the merit goes to a lot of other NGOs and to the Coast Guard. But you really save people's lives, and then, I mean, you have the very first impact. But even a bigger impact that you may have is to continue working with it for them. And I'm going to close here by saying that the 2 other things that have really impressed myself last year and actually this year even more is that there is a very strong negative narrative around migrants. I think we are witnessing probably the most ever difficult period in a lot of years in our history in terms of how do we embrace people that are in need to come. I mean, there are a very strong European politics, and not only, I mean, creatively Trump is adding a lot of borders, but I mean, governments are building borders instead of creating either safe passages to Europe or to other countries, or to really create development in that countries. So, I mean, I think that the other impact is, can we change the negative narrative around migrants? And can we really advocate for seeing their rights changed, or let's say supported when they are in Europe? Because when they land, they feel they are safe, but actually it's only another part of their trip. Because then, I mean, and I wouldn't enter in details, but there are a lot of challenges that they are facing. If they are minors in Italy, they are protected by law, because it is guaranteed for them to stay here till they get 18 or 19, sorry, till they get 18, full stop. So, I mean, the impact we have witnessed with SAR, which for me, search and rescue, so with the vessel, has been extremely fascinating, important, to a certain extent even life-changing for me. But what I want to stress is that impact is not only what you touch, but impact a lot of time is what you imagine. So really the great difference you can do, and for migrants, for example, would be if we can succeed in changing the negative narrative around them, or in having them be welcome in a system, in an institutional system that provides them right. So I will close by saying that the vast majority of stories that you meet when you encounter these people maybe stories that are pretty sad in terms of what they went through. But the biggest thing that I've learned from many of these people that I've met is again the word resilience. So I want really to end with the word resilience. Because when you ask yourself what resilience means, it means that you try to break something, but it doesn't break, it changes. It changes shapes. And actually this is exactly what a lot of the people that we serve and that eventually you will serve in organization are extremely resilient. And it is so it is because of ambition, it is because of collaboration, and it is because of impact. But especially it is because of resilience that I think it is really a privilege to work in our sector. So, I mean, again, I think that in front of you you have a fantastic opportunity, and actually I think I'm doing the most wonderful job on the art. So I mean, I'm really proud of what I'm doing, because I think that you can really feel you contribute to change things. So I wish you good luck for the start of your year and for the things that you will be doing in my organization. Please be professional, because that's what we need. Volunteering is critical, it's important, but be professional. Be passionate a lot. Passion is something that you have to bring with you, and be extremely proud of whatever you will be doing in this sector, because it may be life-changing and it can really create an impact. So, good luck.
And be ambitious.